Hello world, happy Father's Day today, 2024. Today I've got some belt knives on the table and some stuff that generally just doesn't get out or get video airtime. And that's not because they're awesome, they're totally amazing. So when some part about knives that I love, it's just you have the steel and the leather and just this feel of it and the smell and the texture, and there's this nostalgia that goes along with some knives, the historical significance of it, and then just some of them are just so damn cool. This half-ace blades, totally awesome. You got koa scales that are shaped, right? And then all of this cool rock work on the backside, and it's really lightweight and slender, badass, just such a cool knife. Like, there are so many knives that I have that you pick them up and there's just this, there's something to them that it's a sense of nostalgia, and then the old world meets the new world in this way, and these half-face blades are sharp as hell, right? And I feel like knives a lot of times are like a handgun. You just like what you like. There's a Daniel Winkler, Blue Ridge in Damascus. Like, you get a chance to just touch it and hold it, and you're like, man, this just feels really cool in the hand. And all of these things are going to perform pretty much as well as all of my super duper fancy ninja tactical things, right? It's a knife, it cuts things. Put it on your belt. So for Father's Day, these are the cool things. Here's a Daniel Winkler belt knife with sculpted maple scales, and I take beeswax. I buy beeswax in the bars, and a bar of beeswax, and then I rub it into the scales, and I take linseed oil, raw linseed oil, and I rub it into the scales, and then over time you get this cool patina that develops. Here's a Winkler operator, right? Early on design now, but I just love the first time I saw the Winklers, and they have this just completely different feel to them. It's not polished and fancy, in contrast to Seward knives, right? Seward makes amazing, beautiful things, right? Both of these are a similar knife. We have the same grips, right? This is the stabilized dyed curly maple, right? And then, except here's the Sanmai. He made this special for me and another fighter that he makes. Just really cool, beautiful. But just the difference between a less subdued, but both really beautiful in their own right. And probably a better comparison here would be, okay, similar concept, similar size knife. The execution is different, and I really like to see the different executions from these different makers with the same concept of, I'm going to make a knife this size that is made for doing this type of thing, and then just it turns out differently. The contingency from Daniel Winkler, I love how this curves because you're pulling it out of the belt, and it just the sheath, and it just really hooks. You get this nice positive grip on it. So yeah, one thing I hate about the world of knife making is politics and infighting and the negative sort of energy that exists, not necessarily between the people that make or design the knives, but people who are the passionate fanatics of the knives. And then, in some instances, government contracts are out there, or not even government contracts, just, it's competitive, and it's also who you know. Like, here are a Navy SEAL company, right? And then this is the West Coast, and then the Winklers are in North Carolina. That's the opposite side of the country, and North Carolina happens to be close to where Norfolk, Chesapeake, and a lot of training facilities are for people that are carrying these things or getting issued certain types of stuff. So Danny Winkler got the tomahawks, where he was giving them to teams and sponsoring them. And, and all these tomahawks that I've held and knives I held, they're amazing. They're beautiful. I love them. So I like the fun part about the edged weapons, and not so much the, bullshit stories and high school drama. This is a wonderful knife. Half-faced blades. They do drops every week, and then you do a drop basically and try to grab just any knife. The best way to get one probably is being a part of the Facebook group. They're very nice, and you go on there and say, hey, I'm looking for a knife, one of these, and the guys there will just hook you up. They're honest, they're great. It's an awesome Facebook group, and it's a lot easier than trying to catch a drop, because there's computer apps to type in which knife you want, and then it just spams the website when they do a drop thousands of times a second until you get it into your cart. And it's frustrating when you want something and you can't get it. These are made in a shop, right? Not by one person, but I don't think that really detracts from how awesome they are. This is like the small Skinner, and it feels so good. And the interesting thing I love about him is how thin the material is, right? The blades are very thin, and the grind lines on them are really nice. And all of these, you'll cut yourself on them, basically. Like, because they're so badass, it's just gonna happen if you're not careful. So you gotta respect the knife, right? Liam Hoffman, so Forged in Fire champion at 19 years old, well known for his axes, married Tiger Lily Knight, Jason Knight's daughter, and his axes are amazing. And then getting one of his handmade, hand-forged knives is really hard. And just back in the olden days, I was able to pick up some when he was just starting out. So I'm glad about that. I love these knives. They're awesome. Just this really cool micarta. And then just really beautiful. And also they just feel so cool in your hands. So again, there's this nostalgia feel of like wood and steel and leather. And it's just a really cool thing. J.Watson, but then again, you've got this stabilized wood. It's pretty, it feels nice in your hands. So I just wanted to share a little bit different things today of knives. Almar, when I was younger, there wasn't that many knives out on the market, or manufacturers, or makers especially, compared to what there are today. And so Almar used to make really cool, awesome knives. This one's badass as well. And you can still find them on eBay and things like that. But just, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. And I would say the market's pretty much saturated actually with makers, and so there's a lot of stuff out there, and a lot of people got into making knives because it can be a lucrative thing, or it's a fun thing to do, to be able to take something and make it right with your own. Here's a Tad Gear collaboration with my friend Jason Santucci. He is in charge of all the hard goods at Tad, and basically he's the one that designs all of the knives in collaboration with these other manufacturers and makers. And Jason is like one of the most lethal guys with a knife I know. Just a really awesome dude. But yeah, he always adds knurling and specific things for Tad related to fighting, because he was a student of probably the Bruce Lee of Filipino martial arts when it came to knives and knife fighting. And then you got this white guy in it. So just really, really cool, slender. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. I love them. I want to be able to share them with you today. Danny Winkler, half-face blades, Hoffman, Watson, Seward, and then Elmar. Just some different kind of stuff that we don't normally look at, and good old K-Bar. So happy Father's Day, and thanks for watching.